What's up everyone, Wesley here. Welcome back to the channel. So recently I got presented with the opportunity to be a speaker for a UX design event. So there's a networking group called SoCal UX Designers, and it's essentially a group of UX designers living within the Southern California area where they get together to network, mingle, and learn from each other. I did attend one of their networking events recently, and it was a great experience just to meet other designers within my area that come from different backgrounds, experiences, and industries. I also did get to meet some of my YouTube fans, which was an additional plus as well. Anyways, SoCal UX Designer did approach me asking me to be a speaker for one of their designer talk events. Gladly accepted it, so I will be doing a 30-minute talk of a UX topic of my choosing. It's pretty crazy because I never thought I would get to a point in my life where I would be asked to be a speaker just for anything in general. I do feel blessed and thankful for this opportunity to talk about something that I feel I am very passionate about and also knowledgeable in. I thought it would be fun to document and record this experience, so I'll be showing you guys what I'm doing to prepare myself for the event and the talk. Maybe I will also preview my topic in terms of what I'll be talking about and the presentation that I'll be using. And then hopefully I'll also record some of the things that happen on the day of the event as well. Again, super pumped, super excited. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Alright, so today is Monday and my speaking engagement is going to be coming up this Thursday. So far my outline, talking points, it's finished and ready, and I'm about 75% done with the presentation, the PowerPoint. So I'm just kind of working through a little bit of that, cleaning things up a little bit here and there. Hopefully by Wednesday I'll have the chance to do a couple practice runs by myself, making sure that everything seems to make sense from a storytelling perspective. Want to make sure that I'm communicating everything that I want for this talking event, and hopefully everyone will enjoy what I have to share. Now, to tease what I'll be talking about, so I'm going to be sharing my experience with user research. Now, if you're not familiar with my UX background and experience, I've only worked within the retail e-commerce industry. And most of the time with retail, that means that there is a physical brick and mortar store where the company is selling their goods and services. With that being said, I've gotten to work on products that are used inside the store by the store associates. So let's use a Nike store as an example, right? You got people working in those stores in order for business to properly function. And you probably got like the store managers, maybe an assistant manager, and then you got the regular store associates. And something that people tend to forget, that group of people that I just mentioned, they are also considered the user. Usually when we think about retail, we think about the customer, because they bring in the money, right? And you hear the terms like the customer is always right. And if they're not having the greatest experience, then we're not making money. But we forget about the other user, which are the people who are running the stores. If a store doesn't function properly, and then the people that are working there, the store associates, if everything's a mess, there's a high chance that the customer also won't have a great experience as well. So there are tech, product, and apps that a store uses to schedule their employees. They use it to complete store purchases, restock goods and supplies, and much, much more. So with my experience, I've done a lot of store visits for the purpose of empathy, discovery, research, and testing. And that's what I'm looking to share with the people who are attending this event. If you don't really work within the retail e-commerce industry, this is something that maybe you don't know about, especially when it comes to doing research and talking to the users and empathizing and building a better experience for them. Now, one thing I wanted to share really quickly, tips and advices for when it comes to presenting and having a presentation. Now, when I create presentations, I keep text to a minimal. I feel like you can have titles, captions, brief talking points, but you should not be writing down full sentences and paragraphs on your presentation. If you're gonna do that, you'd rather talk those things out verbally when you're at the presentation speaking to your audience. Another aspect, my presentation usually has a lot of visuals. For example, if I'm sharing my real life experience as a UX designer, I'll use images that I've taken in the past from doing store visits, user research, concept testing. I'll also use icons to kind of represent specific talking points. And lastly, I'll use GIFs. Or is that GIFs? GIFs, GIFs, either or. I use a lot of those to kind of essentially bring some sense of humor and lightness to the presentation as well. So what I'm trying to say is that with visuals, it causes that initial reaction for your audiences to really hone in and focus on what you're saying, but you don't want to get it to a point where it's too distracting. If you do have sentences and paragraphs on your presentation, they'll be way too busy reading through that instead of paying attention and listening to you. So try that out. Let me know what your approach is to presentation. Is it similar to mine? Is it different? Let me know.
Taking a ride to join a lake 눈치 보면서 들어갈 때 찾아
Hello. How are you?
설레임 바꾸는 사람들 시간만 지나가 자신감 가지고 해와 그냥 천천히 들어가야 해 어쩔 때는 무작정 들이밀기만 하지만 그런 거랑 차이가 있어 baby 동선을 타고 난 날아올라 yeah. 동선을 타고 난 날아올라 yeah.
I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this. The whole bootcamp experience, is it legit? Which one do you recommend? And that might be shocking to some people because you're like, oh no. Right? For me, I think my strengths really resides in the whole discovery and research phase of things. I just company is what they call either third party, and that's something that I feel like I've been able to see such deep impacts right away. So when we're thinking about those people, like what are they doing inside the store, right? How are they running the business? How are they operating the store? So we may have someone who's like a store manager, right? And that person is essentially scheduling.
동선을 타고 난 날아올라 이제부터 좀 달라질 거야.
All right, let's do a recap of me getting the opportunity to be a speaker. So the day of the event, 40 people actually signed up and paid for the event. I'd say maybe about 20, a little over 20 people came, which was still freaking awesome. And I was just super thankful that someone actually showed up. I met a lot of new people. I had a handful of friends who weren't even UX designers show up to support. So shout out to all you guys and thank you guys for coming and supporting. I will say, leading up to the talk, I was freaking out a little bit. I was super nervous. I've never done a speaking engagement before, and I don't think I've really ever talked about my career as a UX designer to like a large crowd in person. And I've only done that in the context of filming a YouTube video and talking in front of a camera. So going into this, I knew that this was going to be a whole new experience for me, and I just wanted to make sure that my talk and presentation made sense. And this is where I'll talk a little bit about storytelling. And I think this isn't even a UX designer thing. I think it's an important skill to have regardless of what career you have. This set of skills, it's about being able to communicate your life, your story, your experience in a way that makes sense, number one, but also in a way that's engaging and captivating to your audience and listeners. I will say that when I first started out as a UX designer, this was a set of skills that I really sucked at. And I think the biggest reason was because I felt like I knew nothing about this career, especially as a UX newbie. And I was also dealing with a lot of imposter syndrome, anxiety, and just feeling like, again, I was an imposter in a whole new career and I actually knew nothing about it. And that basically comes down to your confidence. When you're not confident in yourself, in your life, your experience and knowledge, I think it's just really hard to own it and then talk about it. For example, another topic or thing that I'm really confident in is dancing. I've been a hip hop dancer for 13 years, and it's something that I put a lot of time, energy, and money into. And when I first started dancing, I was a complete newbie, and I felt really stupid trying certain dance moves. I felt scared being in front of others and dancing in front of them. And I just felt dumb when I couldn't do certain moves, and I just thought I looked really awkward. But after putting 13 years of blood, sweat, and tears, I finally got to a point where not only was I confident in my own dance skills and moves, I was also confident teaching it to other people. I was confident speaking about it, educating others on the history of the dance, the different styles of dancing, and why they were all different. And that's why storytelling, which is one of many soft skills, is something you can only really learn by trying and putting your reps in and getting that actual experience. When it comes to learning a hard skill like learning how to use Figma, that's something you can learn on your own in your own comfort zone. But presenting, storytelling, communicating, talking to your stakeholders, those are all stuff you just need to get the actual experience for. And you gotta be okay with the trial and error. You gotta be okay with messing up, getting back up, and improving yourself. So obviously, going into my 5th year as a UX designer, I do feel 10 times more confident than I was when I was a UX beginner. And for those of you who are new to the career and you're trying your best to become a UX designer, I just wanna give you guys a word of encouragement and say, just keep trying, keep grinding, and putting in the work, and don't be afraid to mess up and continue learning. I promise that you will get to a point where you feel confident in yourself, your skills and experience, and you'll even be able to go up on a stage and talk about whatever you want without noticing that time goes by. Well, that's all I really wanted to share. Again, this was an amazing experience. I enjoyed it a lot, and I hope to do it again in the near future. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.